Hello, dear viewer. I'd like to talk about this topic, this little thing, this little topic. Actually, it's not much of a small topic. It's sort of huge. Maybe not that huge, but it is a problem nonetheless. We are talking about males' emotional intelligence. Now, we can easily say that no, not men, boys are usually emotionally stupid. Usually, alright? Don't get offended or anything. So, why is that? So, thing is, first up, we're going to the scientific parts. Female brains have a lot more ways to manage their emotions. So they'd be, how do I say this? They have these parts of their brains a lot. They're more abundant in females than compared to males. So they can regulate their emotions better than us males. But then, how do you become emotionally intelligent as a man? There are a lot of ways men can become emotionally intelligent. First up, we have the wake up call. The wake up call is, let's say, something traumatic, something painful, maybe a breakup, maybe a burnout. It's an event that leads a man to change or to observe or to do specific things in order to gain emotional intelligence. Second is if that man grew with it, raised with emotional intelligence, it came with. It's usually because of their parents, their kind of environment, what's taught to them. Now the third one is gonna be a lot more common than expected. Remember, I've talked about this in another video about the performative male pandemic. Performative males, I'll give a brief breakdown on what they are. They are basically men that act in a certain way to impress people or to match because of peer pressure, maybe for the social standards, or just to impress women in general. Performative males, once they change for the better, once they do it not to impress specific people, they more often than not reflect about what they did, about how they've just been basically trying to impress people. That reflection, most of the time, I can't really assure you, I can't give you certainty that it will work, but most of the time it works. That reflection will give them a good amount of emotional intelligence. Intelligence is something that isn't fixed. It's something that grows over time, maybe it degrades over time, depending on what you do. Now, when we think about emotional intelligence, there are a lot of factors that we have to think about. There are definitely people that know how emotions work. There are definitely people that apply it to themselves, regulate themselves. There are people that know a lot and apply it to themselves. Now, emotional intelligence is a very, very crucial thing to have, because in this world, this very cruel world, there are a lot of people that are hypocrites. There are a lot of narcissistic people. There are people that really need to change. There are people who have basically messed up philosophies. A lot more. The list just keeps going on and on. What I'm trying to say is, we need emotional intelligence. I'm not saying this just because, you have to be able to tolerate and regulate your emotions in order to become more, to be able to tolerate these ideas a lot more, these people a lot more. No, I am trying to tell you that emotional intelligence can be a way for you to try and change them, or just make them realize that in some way they are wrong. Because a lot of people that don't really have much emotional intelligence don't think much about these kinds of things. Now, I can tell you that I've been one of those people. I've been a narcissistic. I've been a hypocrite. I've been a lot of things. I was once a performative male, and because of that, because of my reflection, when I was a performative male, I changed. But then I became a lot more emotionally intelligent. I'm not saying I completely am. A lot of people claim me to be, but I'm not gonna straight up say it because I have to stay humble, because I really don't think much that I am. I sound showy. I'm sorry for that. Now, when we think about me, yeah, sure, you can still say that I am still emotionally stupid, but why is it that women mostly are emotionally intelligent compared to men? Not just from what I said, because men, according to the social standards, are told to suck it up or just endure it. Women are praised more for regulating their emotions themselves, while in schools, mainly, while men are praised more for performance-based, making them a lot more competitive and check less about their emotions. They don't care much about their emotions that much at that point. Competitiveness, as long having to be being competitive overall can lead you to have some amount of anger issues as well. Most men are competitive as well, but that doesn't straight up mean that men are emotionally stupid. It just means that women are setting up a standard. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but I'm saying that it is what it is. Women, being emotionally intelligent usually, have set up such a standard for emotional intelligence that they think that average men are emotionally stupid usually. I'm not going to complain about that. I do think it's a little unfair, but I'm not going to say that it's a bad thing, because it is fair that they find a man that that's emotionally intelligent, because who wants an egotistical man that just goes around and kicks you whenever his ego just feels shattered or so? It is very much a fair point, but I feel bad for the men that just don't cut out as emotionally intelligent. I think whenever I talk to women, I usually understand them, and I also understand the other side as well. I think about both sides. I understand the pros and cons, but I also understand both sides. I feel bad for women and I feel bad for men. I understand men and I understand women. I have to give them equal opportunities to my mind, of course, to be a lot more fair in this unfair world. Now, I really am thankful that you listened up to this far, even though I've been just speaking my mind about all kinds of things that may be unrelated to it. I'm thankful, and mind if you guys could give this guy a name. I really don't know what to name this pizza ball. So name this small little guy in the comment section. But then this part is mostly gonna be self-reflection. being thought to be emotionally intelligent, of course, it's a praise. But I don't want to get my head up too high, of course. When people give you praises, sometimes our heads just get a little bigger, our egos get a little bigger. We don't want that, of course. We don't want our our egos being out of control. I've been there, and I hated that. I wanted to change. That's what I did. There are people out there that need help. I'm not saying mental help. I'm saying emotional intelligence kind of help. Whenever you get the chance, try to teach people. Whenever you see someone that has a lot of flaws in terms of their mindset, or maybe their emotional intelligence isn't quite right, or emotional thoughts on emotions overall, maybe instead of just shaming them for what they are, maybe we should try to help them be better, try to correct them, help them understand it in a better perspective, rather than just in a negative or maybe self-centered manner. Maybe change is better than elimination. You get what I mean? Of course, we can't change everyone, but it's worth a shot to try help people by trying to change them. I really am thankful that you've listened even up to this far. Some people would have clicked off at the first half. I don't blame them. It's something that should be common at this point. People want quality content. Quite understandable. Well, thank you again for listening. Say goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. See you in the next one, or whatever. Bye.